Hi, followers of the Public Library channel. Firstly, before starting, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all new. Also, don't forget to like the video. When you face failure or tough times more frequently than others, you may start thinking that it is bad luck. I must say that I don't agree with that school of thought. What if I told you that you have certain habits that are not letting you succeed? You may be too nice or too pessimistic. Sometimes you are too honest and other times you think that life is only unfair to you. These habits are bringing you bad luck, and in this video, I will talk about them and more. Number 1. You play by the rules too much. We aren't saying you should break every rule that you lay your eyes upon. We are just saying that following rules is good and keeps you out of trouble. Breaking a few helps you stand out. It separates you as a person who is willing to do whatever it takes to reach a goal. When you are leading a team, this inspires confidence. When you are in a team, this helps you make your presence felt. Everyone notices you and they realize that you are driven and passionate. Being at the top has a price and you are willing to pay it. This is when people are drawn towards you, and along with people, you get more opportunities. After that, it is all about how you can convert those opportunities into success. You can also check out our video, 9 Proven Habits of Successful People. It will help you understand more about the habits of successful people. Number 2. You are very honest. There is an old saying, honesty is the best policy. This isn't true all the time. When you are too honest, sometimes it can get you into trouble. Especially when you are expressing your opinions in a blunt way. This might make you come across as someone who is insensitive and forceful. You will get accused of imposing your views on others. This is where you have to understand, while you are not lying, there is always another perspective of a story. So, practice honesty but don't be too honest. Sometimes it is important to be diplomatic and not always trust your gut instincts. In other words, before doing anything, observe the situation you are in and then react. It will help you keep an open mind and save you a lot of controversy. Number 3. You are too nice. There is nothing wrong with being nice. Au contraire, the world has forgotten how to behave. So, being nice would be great. It would earn you a lot of friends. People will trust you easily. Unfortunately, there is no such thing as good or bad people. Every human being is capable of being very kind and at the same time, very manipulative. It is contradictory, but human nature has never been static. It is dynamic and it always changes according to situations. So, if you are too nice and someone is in a position to exploit you, make no mistake, they will do it. Our suggestion in this case would be to be nice, but not too nice. It will help you avoid trouble and make sure that people don't take you too lightly. Number 4. You are a pessimist. Let us explain this to you in the simplest way possible. When you strongly believe that you can't do anything, you won't be able to do anything. It is basic human psychology. Your brain is the driving force of your entire body. When your brain is filled with self-doubt and negativity, it will not translate into anything positive. This is why you need to stop pondering over those negative thoughts. It is okay to be afraid, but it is never fine to live in that fear. When that happens, you will not let yourself take risks. When you don't take risks, you don't evolve. Pessimism can really hamper your career growth and relationships. Number 5. You are always willing to compromise. It is important to be diplomatic in any interpersonal relationship. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to compromise all the time. In relationships, you will often find yourself at crossroads. You can always compromise, but it would be just a temporary solution. As a result, you will end up being at the shorter end of the stick. No one likes that, and if you still carry on the same way, you will lose self-esteem. After some time, you will end up being frustrated. This frustration will lead you to depression. Many people have this habit. They usually curse their luck after a bad breakup, when in reality, they were indirectly at fault for causing that breakup. On top of that, people who compromise usually get used in relationships. In one of our videos we have spoken about the signs that you are being used in a relationship. We would recommend that you check that out. Number 6. You believe that life is only unfair to you. There are more than 7 billion people on this planet. Most of those people live under $1 a day. Probably, there are many among those people who are more talented than you. Try to process that and you will suddenly look at yourself in a new light. The belief that you are the unluckiest or that life is only unfair to you will make you feel depressed. Try to approach your problems differently and you will see that you will come up with solutions that you had never thought of before. Apart from that, sulking all the time isn't good for your mental health. A little bit of optimism can do wonders for you. So be optimistic, as much as you can. Life isn't going to become fair if you start thinking that it isn't. That doesn't mean that a paradox can't happen. It can, but not in a good way, and that is why the next point exists. Number 7. You are too optimistic. While it is not necessarily positive to have pessimistic ideas, being too optimistic can also be harmful. This is mainly because when you are too optimistic, you will end up making mistakes. You might even become very impulsive or reckless. As a result, you will act before thinking. That sometimes doesn't go well for everyone. This is why it is important to have a realistic approach to life. Realism is the balance between optimism and pessimism. It helps you understand that life isn't all black and white, it is not even gray. Instead, there are many other colors out there that you need to see. On that note, here is something that you can consider watching. We did a video on how your personality is related to your favorite color. Number 8. You have low emotional intelligence. Being emotional, sentimental and emotionally intelligent aren't the same thing. You could be someone who can feel emotions to the point where you will cry if you are hurt. That doesn't mean that you will be someone who will empathize with others. Lack of emotional intelligence could hamper your career as well as relationships. You could be seen as a narcissist or a sociopath. In the long run, it could ruin your chances of earning trust. People will not see you as a friend, but rather as a person who can be confided upon. Fortunately, it is not the end of the world for you. You can learn a thing or two about compassion or empathy by engaging in art. Try learning a musical instrument or learn painting. You can even try learning how to cook. On that note, you can check out our video, 5 Habits That Reveal a Lot About Your Personality. Number 9. You are a little too laid back. It is okay not to be a hyperactive extrovert all the time. Yet, being too laid back has its own set of problems. You aren't taken seriously at work or in relationships. People look at you as someone who is good to have around. That is where they draw the line. You never become anything else to them. You make a lot of friends, but are unable to connect with anyone on a deeper level. They see you as someone who is a little aloof. Some might even perceive you as arrogant. Sadly, that is not the real you, but they don't know it. So while you don't need to be too hyperactive, be active enough to be acknowledged. So, do you still think it is just bad luck that has cursed you? Do you think changing any of the habits we mentioned could help you? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. Finally, thank you for your kind attention. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.